it's worth looking to start with at the fact that you might not, the first people you might be pitching your ideas to wouldn't necessarily be commissioners at broadcasters or at film agencies. They might be producers. And it's worth thinking of it, I think, as pitching and thinking of how your idea is formulated and how you research who you're pitching to right from that very first stage, so that you're making sure you're getting into it with the right producers that have an interest in the sort of area that you're working in, and also have potentially a bit of clout, so that you can look and say, here's my ambition for the project. Does this producer match the ambition I have for that project? And it's worth looking at, if you're aiming towards certain slots, looking at whether who makes for that slot. Could me or my production company link up with them? Do I know anybody that's there? I think that kind of liaison to start with is worth thinking about with your producers. It also gets you used to it and gets you testing your idea long before you go to talk to anybody with the money.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely key, because the basic truth is, if you don't have a relationship with a commissioning editor, it's not only hard to get one, but you won't get your idea off the ground. It's just not going to happen. And I think the pressures that the commission, Barbara talked briefly, which we'll go into more depth on this, about the food chain. Commissioning editors are under a great deal of pressure. They will commission people they've worked with before. If they did a good job for them before, they'll do. The chances are they'll do a good job for them in the future. And it'll, a producer can have a number of failures before a commissioning editor will stop dealing with them. So the kind of the early stages, if you don't have a relationship with that commissioning editor, as Barbara says, link up with a production company that does.
It's worth getting to know within broadcasting commissioning teams, there's usually quite a few people attached to them. Have a look and try and look at kind of staff lists of who there is, because you never know, you might know people. If you're approaching a drama commissioning editor, you might know some of their readers or their development people. You might know the commissioning editor. Everybody's been in different places. It's one of those industries where everybody kind of slips and slides, and it's not like you get up to commissioning editor, or you do like I do, you get up to that and then you find you're a producer again. And lots of people, you can be commissioning somebody one day and commissioned by them almost the following day, because it is that sort of business where people are changing jobs very rapidly. It's also worth remembering that people are changing jobs rapidly. So try not to make enemies, because you never know where they'll be. People that are working with you, people that are working below you, above you, it doesn't matter. Just trying to treat everybody with a bit of fairness is well worth it in this business, because you never know where you'll encounter them.
The old adage is be nice on the way up, because you never know when you'll need them on the way down. It's worth remembering that kind of basic fact of human nature, that people tend to like working with people that they like working with. So if they enjoy being with you, if it's a pleasure, if it's a pleasure to be in the room and talking through ideas with you, as Barbara was saying, if you can just kind of, the first 5 minutes of a meeting is going to kind of, just general chit chat about ideas they might have had coming up. Did they see something else on telly? So it's kind of basic human interaction that is kind of going to get you over the first hurdle. The other kind of classic thing really is that you go to a meeting with a commissioning editor, and if it was a commissioning editor standing at the front here and they're saying, well, and you say to them, well, what kind of things are you looking for? One of the kind of standard responses is, well, watch the channel. And it sounds kind of trite to say it, kind of watch Channel 4, watch Channel 5, but you have to watch these, even if it's not to your taste. If you're thinking of pitching to that channel, you've got to watch them. You've got to see how do they schedule ideas? Where are they really spending money? In the case of Channel 5, they'll be spending money between 8 o'clock in the evening and 10 o'clock at night. Because they haven't really got much money to spend anywhere else, and they've got acquisitions, which will go, either at 9 or at 10. So you can see what kind of schedule, what the shape of the schedule is, and therefore you can see where the opportunities are, and you can see that if they've got, if they've got a kind of a long-running kind of very, very low cost daytime idea, you can work out how you could pitch something there.
The vast majority of ideas that are coming through e-commissioning or through meetings or whatever are not good for that commissioning editor. They could be good ideas, but they're not going to work. So people want good ideas. People definitely want good ideas. It's how you get your good idea to them that is of interest. A lot of them will come to things like DocFest, and that's great because that's your chance to actually meet them. That's your chance to then be able to follow up saying, great to meet you, great to see you yesterday, here's just something about our company and what we're doing just to follow up. Make sure if you've met people at DocFest and things, follow up straight away. Don't necessarily rush your ideas to try and sell your ideas, but just follow up to say, thanks for the chat, really enjoyed it. It's all about trying to lodge your name in their kind of memory banks so that you've got some sort of, it's not a relationship, but it's the start of one. I think one of the first things to remember is that you really only get a chance to pitch to people for the first time once. It's a sort of silly thing to say, but just make sure you are approaching people at the right time and you're not approaching people too early or too late. It's a really difficult thing to judge, but the first time you approach somebody with an idea, that's really the best chance you've got.
With the advent of a kind of real digital age, with the flip cameras, with the Kodak, what's it, KI8, with PD150s, you've got access to be able to shoot taster tapes easily and at kind of virtually no cost. And it doesn't have to be particularly polished. It just has to give an idea why the central character or the central idea is so compelling. And that's really what you're trying to get across. And because the one example that's always cited as possibly the one that kind of kick-started this whole trend is Susanna and Trini. They were pitched off tape to commissioning editor at the BBC, who didn't necessarily, it wasn't necessarily, we've got these two women who write this column and they've got this website. That was seeing the way they interacted that made them think, actually there's something here that we can build upon the two characters, which is essentially what that piece was. You had a format that it followed, but essentially it was about the two characters and how they interacted and their relationship with the public, and that's what got that commission. So I think if you can do it, if you can shoot your taster tape, it doesn't matter if you're using an iPhone or whatever it is, low cost video technology enables you to do it, and so it's absolutely key to thinking about it. It also ensures that you've got the access which you're promising the commissioning editor that you're going to have as part of this.